public and private lien issued to the Holy See, vassals, and franchises. Before all creation, let it be witnessed and stand that the Holy See and its vassal, known as the British Crown, and its vassals, known as the International Monetary Fund and Federal Reserve, and France Incorporated, have benefited themselves at our expense via the establishment of titles and enclosures which have been used by the same vassals and franchises to allege debts which do not exist against persons that do not exist and states that do not exist. These fictitious persons are operated under the defunct and obsolete and immoral law of Noah, which was overcome and outlawed on the land circa 3785 BC. These acts of fraud have been pursued and participated in while both the Holy See and the British monarch have occupied positions of trust and have pretended to us and to the rest of the world that they have acted as their international trustees. And while they and the French government have been responsible for administration of the United States, a corporation obligated to provide us with stipulated governmental services in the United States of America, another governmental services corporation employed by the United States. These venal acts and practice of constructive fraud have been carried out in the sight of God and are abominations against the truth. And they are owed remedy on the land, and cure on the sea, and redemption in the jurisdiction of the air. All right, title, and interest in these organic states belong to the flesh and blood people whom live in these countries. Progeny and beneficiaries are the militia members known as the free, sovereign, and independent peoples of the United States, according to the definitive Treaty of Peace, Paris, 1783. These living people are not United States citizens, nor are they citizens of the United States. They are not persons, and they are not personified via the use of names presented in corrupt Latin, using all capital letters. These living persons are natives of 50 sovereign geographically defined nation states. They are known as Texans, Californians, New Yorkers, Oregonians, and so on. Pretensions otherwise have been used to advance false claims and to justify acts of inland piracy, unlawful conversion of assets, fraudulent conversion of property, mischaracterization, personage, torturous copyright infringement, issue of mortgages, false arrests, impersonation of elected officials, and numerous other sins and omissions. In an effort to remedy these wrongs and establish an end to these and them, Pope Francis has declared a year of the Jubilee, and yet no papal and no practical action has been taken by the Pontiff's office to expedite the return of titles held under color of law by the Vatican and its affiliates, nor has there been any administrative protocol established to assist in the reconveyance of property interest owned to the Americans and the actual American states. And to date, the banks and the attorneys and the employees of the United States Incorporated and the United States of America Incorporated and other franchises and affiliates of the Holy See, British Crown, and French government responsible for these false claims and acts of personage upon our shores have not been compelled to cease and desist and have not been redirected or re-educated. Discussions regarding this circumstance and promise to cure have been ongoing since 2008 without systemic beneficial result, whereas upon we establish a lien upon the Holy See and the British Crown and the French government and their franchises and affiliates payable as 50 million tons metric of pure gold, or as the complete and actual release of all American property, both public and private, free and clear of all debt, claim, title, patent, trademark, copyright, power of attorney, or other encumbrance. All property to be returned to the actual states and the people to whom the soil and assets of the soil belong to as of January 2008, or otherwise made whole to the satisfaction of those Americans whom have been harmed by malicious profits, fees, rents, interest on investment, disbursements, dividends, pensions, beneficial contracts, rights, leaseholds, and other property naturally belonging to us and our estates, due and payable now. We take this action under the universal law of necessity, having exhausted all administrative remedy long ago, and having endured 8 years of negotiations and promises which have not been and have not created any equitable remedy, nor any satisfactory correction of the operations of the American Bar Association and its membership. The various banks owned and operated by the Holy See and its vassals, the United States Incorporated, United States of America Incorporated, and the numerous other incorporated entities responsible for these and other abuses of the living people of Earth. We also established an additional separate lien against the World Bank. International Bank of Reconstruction and Development, and Bank of International Settlements for their role in seizing assets owed to our grandparents and parents under the false pretense that the assets were abandoned, when in fact, proprietary creditors were never notified of the settlement of the bankruptcy of the United States of America Incorporated, and thereby deprived of their administrative relief. This separate due process lien is assessed in the amount of $387 billion United States dollars payable in gold owed to the American people and their organic states, and which is also due and payable now. We take this action as free, sovereign, and independent people of the United States and progeny of the militia known as the people, and also act as agents of the United States of America, i.e. the States of America, and thus in public bring claim as proprietary creditors the United States Incorporated and the United States of America Incorporated, Federal Reserve, International Monetary Fund, United Nations Corporation, American Corporations Company, Internal Revenue Service, Depository Trust, Bank of New York, Bank of America, Merrill Lynch, and all those principals and their franchises responsible for the criminal misadministration of these and other foreign corporations upon our shores. We declare that we and our progeny no longer live under the law of Noah, nor under the law of Moses, but under the law of Yahweh, and though we retain all beneficial interests and dominion upon the earth, or over the earth, and especially over those portions of the earth that are ours by direct inheritance, we are in fact sojourners of the earth, permanently domiciled in jurisdiction of the air. We declare that we are true and verifiable biological progeny of the people known as the free and sovereign and independent people of the United States, and that we have the standing and the authority to present all claims, take against all wills, settle all debts, and execute all process necessary to set free our natural inheritance. We declare that all pretension that we are persons or voluntarily choose to act as persons is a lie and a fabrication of the father of all lies. We declare that we do not reside in any fictitious realm known as a state, nor a county, of a county, nor municipality operating as a franchise of the United States Incorporated, United States of America Incorporated, District of Columbia, Municipal Corporation, or any legal fiction construct whatsoever. To whatever extent may be said to exist, they exist as creations of man, and no creation is greater than its creators. We declare all these suppositions regarding legal fiction, including names and all resulting presumptions and presumptions of obligation, to be fraudulent by nature, repugnant to reason and reality, and therefore also void. We declare that we do not voluntarily adopt nor assume for any purpose any sign in dog Latin constructed so as to deceptively resemble our given names, which are all private property, rendered in English. And do not mistake such deviously constructed signs to be our names, in fact, and do not operate such signs or icons in trade or business except under duress, which renders any participation in Satan's system, ironically, Social Security has the same no-claimer, invalid and involuntary. We further declare Also, that we are not idlers, nor subject to idolatry, and do not worship graven image in any form, including Federal Reserve notes, United States notes, Treasury Reserve notes, or what other so-called legal tender can be dreamed up and foisted off on the innocent public. Nor do we worship any coin or commodity of the earth, for all the earth and its products belong to us. We declare that we are unincorporated sovereign being and not subject as sovereigns to any crown or state. Crowns and states are subject to and accountable to us. We declare that we are not liable for the creation, misadministration, misconduct, and general criminality of these various foreign corporations acting in violation of the charters, treaties, and trust indentures which have allowed them to exist and to operate on our shores. So it is said and done in the presence of true God in this moment, called now, and in this court of record, entered into, in addition to, and in support of, the justice and judgment and findings of the Alaska State Superior Court case number 07022-015-000